Hello and welcome to a special edition of Access Sportsnet Lakers season preview. I'm your host, Chris McGee. Joining me now, we got Mike Bresnahan right here. We got Allie Clifton over there. And joining us, big game, James Worthy. Ready for another season, guys?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Media day just around the corner. Whew, it's coming up quickly.
It'll be our 10th, by the way, here at Spectrum.
Perfect 10.
Sportsnet. Yeah, so we're excited. All right, let's get it started with the biggest move the Lakers made heading into the season, bringing in LA native Russell Westbrook in a blockbuster trade with the Wizards. At his introductory press conference, the former NBA MVP was at a loss for words on being home with the Lake Show.
It's surreal. I think it still hasn't kind of hit me yet that being from LA, growing up not too far from here, being able to watch the parades, try to go to them, miss school to try to go to them, being a Laker fan and being from LA, but now everything coming full circle for me is it's a blessing. You know, it's a lot of things I can't put into actual words just because, you know, some of these dreams don't come true for people like myself. And I'm truly blessed and thankful for this opportunity, and you know, I can't wait to get started. I've been blessed to be able to go into my 14th season, and each year I try to find ways, like Rob mentioned, to be able to uplift and make my teammates better around me. And AD and Brian are friends of mine first, and me being their teammate, my job is to come in and uplift them, and they'll do the same with me, vice versa. And as the season prolongs, we will figure it out. There will be ups, there will be downs, and that's normal. That's okay. But we will figure out how to play the best way that we want to play to be able to win a championship.
He's one of the most liked and respected and beloved players in the league by players he's played with. He's an incredible leader, and when you talk to teammates from the other storied franchises he's played for, to a man, the input you get is that he's one of the great teammates they've played with, and that speaks to his character and his leadership. I think he is in an elite class of players in terms of his competitive nature. One of the core qualities as we build a roster is seeking out guys that have an ultra sense, a heightened sense of being competitive warriors on the court, players that played with the ultimate sort of grit and grind and tenacity, and Russell stands in an elite class in that category.
Hey Russ, I know you grew up in LA watching the Lakers going to the parades and stuff. You also had a really close relationship with Kobe Bryant. What you know, did you have that in your head at all when this trade was coming together and in just these last couple of weeks since it's happened?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't left my head. You know, it's things that we've talked about, me and him, you know, just the potential of me being able to be a Laker and understanding what that entails. And, you know, it's just crazy to think about, you know, and that will be with me every time I put that Laker jersey on. And, you know, that's all I can say about that.
We all know that Westbrook's effort level on the court is second to none. It's not something we even ever have to discuss. So, Big Game, I'll start with you. What are you most excited to see when he suits up in a Laker jersey?
You know, given that he came into the league with tons of talent and he had to mature, he did that at Oklahoma, he went to, you know, Houston, Washington. What I'm looking for is what he just demonstrated right there in that interview. He's a true veteran now, with tons of experience on not only how to play the game. Playing the game is going to be easy for him. What he's going to bring as far as being a major threat, the pressure that he puts on the defense, his ball handling ability, just the tenacity, the way he plays the game. But on top of all of that, his experience and his know-how now. He's calm, he's relaxed. He's not like he was 7 years ago. So that leadership, I think he has a little bit more experience, obviously, than AD does, obviously, as far as leadership and being in the locker room, knowing what's needed. And he's not looking to be the superstar, which he has been on most teams. He's looking to win. And having grew up here, it is surreal for him, you know, because when you dream about getting a scholarship or maybe playing in the NBA, it's in your hometown. I remember Byron Scott talking about that, sneaking into the Forum, someone distracting the guard while they sneak in. So, yeah, this is great for him. And then his relationship with Kobe. You know, everyone that comes here, has that will to win.
Allie James is right. He is a veteran. He is established. He does play a certain way, a certain style, tenacity, ferocious. Can Westbrook, a former MVP, now paired with AD and LeBron, can he still take his game to another level?
I think absolutely. I think that's the one thing that's very attractive and intriguing about a player like Russell is all he has accomplished. There's still so much more that he has yet to want to accomplish. And obviously the title being at the forefront of all of that. But you don't come and join two future Hall of Famers, two champions, an MVP, an alpha kind of guy who also understands what it takes to make those around him that much better if you don't have the eagerness to want to get better. And I think that's what separates good from great is finding those capabilities about yourself and wanting to allow them to shine. It's something that, as you mentioned, the relationship that he and Kobe shared with one another, it's what Kobe saw in him. And so I think that is something that we have all yet to see is what are we about to see unlock from Russell Westbrook that we haven't already? And he's been amazing to this point.
And Brez, I guess when superstars join a team with other superstars, the question is always, how do they fit? How will they be off ball? Well, he's played with ball dominant guys, James Harden, Kevin Durant. So I guess my question to you is, where do you want to see him improve with these guys? I mean, is three-point shooting just the obvious one that jumps off the page?
Yeah, definitely that's where I'd start. You know, it was about 30% last season, and he took a pretty high volume of them too. So if he can just kind of take the gas, take the foot off the gas there a little bit, that would work out well for him and the Lakers probably. See right there, 31%. The other thing, though, it's kind of interesting. He has been the alpha dog or the beta dog in every city he's played in. He has never been kind of the third option. And of course, he's going to come into a team. They just won it all about a year ago with LeBron and AD being the clear number 1 and 2. Sometimes Russ will be the best player for the Lakers in a game. He'll lead them in scoring, he'll lead them in assists, he'll lead them in energy, but more often than not, I'm curious to see how he kind of blends in as potentially the number 3 guy behind 2 very good players who already won a title here.
Yeah, you mentioned the 3 guys, and they have quite an impressive resume. 5 MVPs between LeBron and Westbrook, 5 titles between the group. Of course, 4 of those belong to LeBron James, 30 All-NBA team selections, numerous All-Star game appearances. And Big Game, Brez just kind of hit on something that's really interesting. Being that 3rd guy, you paired with Kareem and Magic Johnson. We're talking 2 of the all-time great players, obviously different points of their career and yours, but how hard is it to make something like that work? How much of a sacrifice does it take a certain personality?
Yeah, when you know you could score more, or you can, have a little bit more popularity if you want it. I was looking at Dominique Wilkins in Atlanta, and Terry Cummins, who was just right over here with the Clippers, who was number 2 pick, and but they weren't progressing in the playoffs. I had to sit on the bench for a couple of years, but that's the kind of sacrifice you have to make when you believe in yourself and when you believe in the system and you believe in what the coaching staff is telling you that your time will come. And if you know you can play, you just kind of relax and let it come to you.
Did Magic and Kareem's unselfishness help you emerge?
Watching Jamal Wilkes, all those guys that came from John Wooden, who knew how to play the game. Bob McAdoo, a Hall of Famer coming off the bench, Michael Cooper. And so, I was fortunate to come to a team as the number 1 draft pick where they really didn't need me. And I was able to just survey and kind of understand that when my time came, just to be ready. So, but I think Westbrook is at the point of his career where he understands that, he wants to win. And when he has to take over a game, he will, because he can.
Brez, I guess when you look at the narratives around the league or people who don't believe in this Laker team, they talk about the loss of defense. But when you look at Westbrook, AD, and LeBron, aren't they a matchup nightmare for everyone else? What kind of problems are they going to pose to other teams?
Yeah, good luck trying to hold this team under like 120 points on any given night. And yeah, a moment of silence for the Lakers defense, losing a guy like KCP, very good perimeter defender, Kyle Kuzma, deceptively good defender this past season. And of course, Schroeder, feisty for sure. So they're going to be less on the defensive end this year. They were the top-ranked team on that side of the ball. That's going to drop. But on offense, like you said, Geet, good luck trying to devise a game plan to stop 3 very high-energy, highly efficient guys who are going to have scored a ton of points. They will not have one game this year where they're under 100 unless one of these 3 guys is not playing. That's my prediction. Call it bold if you want. It's really not that bold, actually.
Yeah.
Everyone scores 120 these days. But Lakers...
No, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, whatever they lose on defense, they will make up for on offense.
Though I respect your take there on defense, Brez, I'm actually going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I think that this team will find a way to start things on the defensive end. I think it starts with Frank Vogel. I think there is something to what he is establishing and what he has already planted when it comes to the foundation with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You've got Talen Horton-Tucker, guys who understand what it takes to ultimately win, and you have to be able to get stops. Are they going to be the top defensive team like a season ago? No, I don't think they're going to drop too far. I think that they hang their hat on that end and they understand if the way in which they want to play, which is getting out and running, part of that starts on the defensive end of the floor. And I think you have veteran guys who have that understanding of locking in and playing. It may come more so from a team by committee type of defense and not so individual based, like you mentioned, Alex Caruso and KCP, but I think there is something within this team that can find it to get it done defensively.
Now,
it's something they take pride in.
Yeah. Now, this is a season preview show. So obviously we're going to lead with Westbrook and talk a lot about him. We're going to talk LeBron James and their fit. But there's another guy on the team named Anthony Davis that's been kind of flying under the radar during this offseason. He played, a career low 36 games. I mean, he missed half the season, big game James. He's now had a long offseason. He should be rested. I'm sure he's going to be in great shape. What do you expect to see from him?
I think that's the key. 27, Brez, 27. Yeah. So with all that talent, at some point, and I'm not sure if he's arrived at that point yet, because I know he works on his game, but what are you going to do with your body to make sure that you can sustain a season and play through some of the nagging injuries? I know some of the injuries that you get, or some are you can't avoid. But, I remember guys like, David Robinson, who had a, great physique and worked out in the offseason. Patrick Ewing, those guys came back and they were able to play through it. That's what I'm hoping to see. Other than that, I mean, what he brings to the table. Yeah. Everything, from ball handling to three-point shooting to shot blocking, which is why I think that I agree, Brez, the defense is yet to be seen, but at the same time, I think they're going to have some rim protectors that they didn't have last year with Dwight Howard coming in, Ariza. He's pretty good defensive savviness, even though he's 36 years old. But yeah, so it's yet to be seen. But I think for AD, I want to see him come back, stronger, in great shape, ready to absorb contact and go to the bucket and not away from it.
I think that's what we all want to see. I feel like I'm personally as excited as I was when he first came here. Because of the way last year ended. I'm intrigued. I'm curious how he took care of himself in the offseason. I'm curious to see how motivated he is. Brez, but I agree with James. He's the key.
Yeah, for sure. LeBron a couple years ago had that groin injury right on Christmas, and it cost him some time. And it kind of undercut their season, and he thought about that a lot during a long off season. That could be AD now. He's been out for several months, did not obviously finish the playoffs the way he wanted to. So it's probably been in the back of his mind, if not maybe more towards the front of his mind, that, hey, I've got to come back stronger. I've got to really work on my body. LeBron is known as a workout warrior. Maybe LeBron and AD have been kind of, if not working out together, maybe texting a little bit, talking a little bit. What are you doing? What are you doing? Here's where LeBron can impart some of his physical wisdom as far as workout regimen upon a young guy who's still in his mid to late 20s.
This is what's been kind of intriguing with Anthony Davis, because in this day and age of social media, you haven't yet besides coming out to the Sparks game, I haven't seen Anthony Davis.
0 times, right?
He's not on social media if it's not Twitch or whatever video games he's playing, which I actually respect and appreciate. So what does his body look like? What is the focus? What has he been working on? It is something to be, seen, but I think at the same time, I would put my money on Anthony Davis putting in that work this offseason and coming out to show us something.
If I was LeBron's teammate, I'll tell you right now, I would ask for two things. One, can I borrow some money? And two, I'm going to put it to do whatever you do. You show me what, let's do it. I'm going to follow your path. Now, they say once a Laker, always a Laker. Quite a few reunions for the Lakers this upcoming season. Dwight Howard, Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, and Trevor Ariza are all back in the purple and gold. And Lakers were able to bring back guys who are familiar with the organization and know the expectations that come with it. I mean, Dwight to Bazemore to Trevor Ariza. Of course, Wayne Ellington and Ariza and Dwight won titles with the Lakers. Bazemore and Ellington, if you guys remember, got a chance to be around the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. How important is it, James, to have guys who know what it means to wear the purple and gold and understand what comes with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Lakers, their brand has been around for a long time and has continued to show people that, they have the formula for winning. So when people come here or whether they're playing against the Lakers, they understand it. And, so when you have that mentality coming in, that unselfish teammate, collective effort to win and being able to sacrifice, that's a great strategy. And, it's a good teammates to have that think like that. So when you have these veterans coming in who've been here, and then they've been out in the league, they know how to win, they know how to, be a professional, it makes a big difference when you're trying to add another championship.
You're talking about add another championship, James. I always feel like it's so important to have that mix of veteran guys, a couple of superstars, and then you got to have some youth, right? Now, the Lakers add a guy like Carmelo Anthony. He's the veteran, right? He's a future Hall of Famer. He's got all the money. He doesn't need that. But as he said, there's one thing missing on the resume, and that's a championship ring. Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk. I mean, these are guys who presumably took less money to be here. Brez, how important is that for a team with championship aspirations?
Yeah, I really like all three of those signings, no doubt about it. I mean, Carmelo, very productive. His 2 seasons in Portland, great offensively. Shot over 40% from three-point range this past season. Carmelo Anthony, almost a lockdown three-point shooter. Did not think I'd ever say that. That guy right there, Kendrick Nunn. To me, he's probably one of the X factors for this team. He's got the youth that the Lakers need, a very underrated game in Miami. He's got a good floater, very good mid-range. Improved his three-point stroke as well. And then Malik Monk. He had a very good kind of mid-season down in Charlotte when LaMelo Ball got injured, really showed what he could do with the ball, both scoring and a little bit of passing too. So I think the fact they got him for a veteran's minimum contract, a great deal right there for the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see some of these new guys who you watch around the league, but you only get to see a few times a year, and you're always impressed with them, and now you're like, okay, let's see what they do when they put on that uniform, because, it's going to be a good time.
No doubt.
All right, Access 360 time, big game, James. Let's take a look at what some of the new guys bring to the table.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about what's missing for the Lakers. A lot of that is three-point shooting. I think we might have some answers. Be hungry. They're going to already know how to play the game, so that's going to make it easier for the coaching staff when they try to implement certain defense.
Double again, 22, 11, and 11. LeBron James, 25, 7, and 7. And Anthony Davis, just under 22 points, 8 rebounds, and a block and a half. All right, ESPN conducted a poll with 10 NBA scouts and executives on who's going to win it all next season. 6 of the 10 votes went to the big three of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. The Lakers received just 2 votes. The NBA champion Bucks received 1, and so did the Heat, who traded for Kyle Lowry in the off season. So those right there are kind of the 4 big dogs. Nets, Lakers, both have a big 3. Let's assume health. Does it look like both teams are going to be on like a collision course to meet the NBA Finals in your eyes?
You're talking about the Nets and the Lakers?
Nets and Lakers, if they're healthy.
Yeah, I do, because I think the Nets possess, a lot of offense, and they didn't get a chance to just play that. However, Milwaukee, you got to beat the defending champions, but I do think, this year, Brooklyn's going to have a lot to prove. Now, the Lakers, I think their defense is going to be pretty good. I do. With Dwight coming off the block shots, and, I just think Coach Vogel really preaches that, and I think that's going to get them, along with their high-powered offense, to the finals. But it won't be easy, but I do think there's a collision happening.
Remember, we have to assume health.
Right.
Everyone knows that injuries throws everything out the door. Is it disrespectful to everyone else, the Bucks, Suns, and everyone else? Do you think it's a collision course?
I think it's a collision course.
Yeah.
But you have two very different styles of basketball going
Big
head to
threes are
head.
much different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as we had that conversation earlier about, what the Lakers' big three possesses, you have to account for them being defended.
Yeah.
We know the capability of the Nets and their opportunities to score the basketball, to shoot the basketball. I mean, they were one of, if not the best offensive-minded teams ever assembled. You heard that a season ago, the high firepower that they're able to put out there. But we just saw also in the NBA Finals a guy named Giannis Antetokounmpo who played with force and got the job done. I still think the style in which the Lakers can present force down on the block. I think when it comes to the defensive end of the ball, you still have a guy in Anthony Davis who wants to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
You have to defend the Lakers just as much as you want to say we can score, we can beat you offensively.
Yeah, I agree. All right, everyone will not have to wait too long for the Nets and Lakers, specifically Durant and LeBron, to face off on the court. They play the marquee matchup Christmas Day. LeBron has played in 15 games, just behind the Black Mamba with 383 points. Those are Christmas Day games. Behind LBJ, Oscar Robertson, Dwayne Wade, KD, who has scored 299 points on Christmas, is good for 5th all time. Another portion of the ESPN polls that were released, check this out. The scouts and execs were asked who is the best player in the NBA heading into next season. Giannis and KD, both tied for first with 5 votes apiece, while Lakers star LeBron James did not receive a single vote. I feel like we've been here before, Allie, and a little known stat, by the way, because there's LeBron. Thank you, as if I needed more to fuel me. That is LeBron James. Beautiful use of the emoji right there, the little gas station.
Tank.
Yeah, little gas tank, fuel. By the way, little known stat, KD and LeBron, the last time they played against each other in a game, Lakers were smashing the Warriors on Christmas. Remember that first year he was with the Lakers. You look at that NBA survey. LeBron didn't receive a vote for best player. Is it a good idea to count him out?
If you're a Laker fan, that's what you want people to do.
Yeah.
Because of that tweet right there. I remember seeing that tweet and being like, what could you possibly have done now? To fuel that man. I obviously, as we know, there's nothing added extra motivation-wise. I think a season ago, in terms of the way in which the team was playing, the position that he was in personally, when going down, that alone had his, clock spinning and wanting to come back. But these are just little things that add up. These are the things that when we talk about, LeBron doesn't miss a beat, and he's watching it, he's listening to it.
I'm with you.
And it's amazing to me that we continue. This is a man that won his 4th NBA title in 2020. And months later, we were like, he's not even a top 5, top 10 player.
Yeah.
Allie,
it's hard to digest things like that.
I always think of Tom Brady, how many times we buried him. And then he goes to Tampa and wins another Super Bowl, and he just makes commercials making fun of all of us for trying to put the dirt on the grave.
Yeah.
He's still here.
If I recall,
still going. LeBron's still going.
Before he was injured, we were talking about him being the MVP.
I know.
Yeah, he was leading the league in assists and doing a lot of things. So,
what about the roster, Big Game James? Like, that's what LeBron has laughed at as well. Not just has he heckled in tweets not getting a vote, but he's also talked about the, people talking about the old age, the roster, the, too old to compete for a title. Do you buy that?
I buy it when you're talking about old players.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about key players who are still hungry, like a Carmelo Anthony, obviously a Russell Westbrook, a guy like Wayne Ellington, who's been around. These are specific veterans, who do specific things. So I don't buy that. Normally when you get older players, you get a little old. You look at the age factor, but not with this particular group, because I think they fit well together. Westbrook is still young and can go at any player on the court. So it just depends on how the offense flows as to how these other players will. I think, shooting 39, 40% from 3, I think they're going to surprise some people.
All right, I think you guys are going to like this next part here. We're going to bring in Brez. Lakers are going to be battling for a playoff spot in the West. We do know that, Brez. And, you used to be able to kind of pick a few and roll the balls out. Sure. I've actually seen your list. I think the people are going to like it. I think now you got to put a lot of time in. There's a lot of good teams. You got to think out here, Mike.
going to be some disappointed cities, of course, who are not going to make this list. Appreciate that, Geet. Let's start with Portland. You know, I feel like we've seen this show before. They get to the playoffs. They have a decent regular season, but they lose pretty early in the playoffs. So let's assume that they're going to at least make the playoffs. You got to put Dame in there for sure, no doubt about it. This next team had a really hard time figuring out where to put them. The LA Clippers. No Kawhi. We all know that. That's an issue, obviously. Still got Paul George. Still got some good young talent. Are they going to go up a spot or two, maybe? If everybody stays healthy, of course. You already talked about that, Geet. We are assuming everyone does stay healthy. But if Paul George gets hurt, I don't know if they make the playoffs. But for now, we will put them at number 7. Number 6, I feel like they were maybe 6 last year as well, the Dallas Mavericks.
I think they're going to be there for the next 10 years.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and they can always win a round or two in the playoffs. They have enough talent there. Luka, obviously, an MVP-capable guy. Kristaps Porzingis. How many games is he going to play? That's what it comes down to. Assuming he's healthy, I see them sliding in pretty nicely at that 6th spot. This next team, they already have bad health issues. Denver Nuggets, no Jamal Murray for at least the first part of the season. That's trouble. Jokic, obviously a threat. Some good guys around him, but no Jamal Murray. There's no way they are going to be in the top 4 hosting a first round as long as he is not around to play. But still a good team. You definitely have to respect some of the things that they have going on. Number 4, Director Bergen might not be too happy with this, the Phoenix Suns. Okay, what's going on here? A magical run all the way to the finals, up 2-0 on the Bucks, if I remember correctly. They were just right there, but now what happens? They brought back most of the core of their team. I love the campaign deal, very cheap, good price for the Phoenix Suns. Got Chris Paul back in the fold, but I want to see more. Did they just catch lightning in a bottle, or is this a team that could potentially be in the top 3? Now, number 3, everyone's regular season darling. They won the West last year when it didn't really matter for the top seed, the Utah Jazz. Then, of course, the playoffs came. Another early exit. They're kind of like Portland. They have a nice regular season, and they just can't do much beyond that. Great defense. Got to give them credit for Rudy Gobert and some really good perimeter guys as well. But they are not in my top 2. This next team had trouble slotting them as well. The Golden State Warriors.
So are they back? You're telling me?
I think they're back. Yep. I think they're back. Obviously, Klay Thompson, he might not start the season, but when he gets rolling into form, you got him, you got Steph under that ridiculous contract. I mean, he's making like $700 million a year up there. Much deserved. He really had a nice bounce back season. Some youth there as well. 3 lottery picks in the last 2 years. Can at least 2 of those guys step up and maybe kind of fill that void while they wait for Klay to come back? Can't forget Draymond either, still there. And of course, number 1, no big surprise here, the Lakers. Health, we're assuming good health. Now you add Russell Westbrook to the mix. In case LeBron or AD want to take a night off, relax a little bit, or maybe they got a little sprain or a little bump or bruise, no need to worry, unlike last season when you'd have to hope a Kyle Kuzma would step up or KCP would hit a bunch of threes. Now you just plug in Russell Westbrook. He goes from maybe the number 3 option to the 2 or even the 1 option. So 1 through 8. Had fun doing it, Geet. Appreciate you approving of the shoes and the list.
List is good. Those are the right 8 teams. I might move a couple. We'll talk about that during the commercial, but those are the right 8 teams. Pretty good job by Mike Bresnahan right there.
That was a hell of a job.
All right, new Laker, Russell Westbrook, is the newly minted leader, all-time triple-double list. How impressive is this? 184, the Big O with 181, Magic 138, J. Kidd and LeBron James, 1 triple-double away from triple digits. Big game, the man averaged a triple-double last season. He's done it 4 times. Oscar did it once. It's incredible to think about that. Like LeBron, he's so tough stopping him in transition. He's just going downhill, and I can't wait to see it in a Laker uniform. Let's break down what he brings.
Yeah. I mean, his mindset to get to the cup or either distribute to one of his teammates is really good. He's a willing passer and a very dangerous threat. Let's take a look at the pick and roll. Now, it's a big part of the NBA. You see, he calls for it because he knows once he gets this position right here, going downhill with a defender behind him, he knows that Schroeder is the shorter player. Gafford, they're 6'10". Not a great pass, but still Westbrook recognizing the mismatch, going downhill. He could have scored or he made the pass. I like the fact that when he gets the rebound, he can start the break. And this is what he does. He gets into the open court. You may be able to cut him off one time, but notice how he continues to spin and go downhill. And when Schroeder comes to help, once again, a willing pass. We always think of him as a scorer, but the guy can pass. Here he is here, rebound, start to break. Now, this is what you want to do if you're the defender. You want to build this wall. There's no wall that Westbrook can't get through and destroy. As he navigates with the quickness, he bursts through as soon as he sees a gap. And here's what I really like, the bursting speed that he has. Once he gets the basketball right here at half court, he recognizes the defenders here, and he knows exactly the move he wants to make, go left, and then with a big Euro step. Now, he right here, Brez, he's at the free throw line. 1, 2, no one can get to it. You're right, man. If we ever have LeBron or AD out of a game, boy, he can step up as if you're not missing anything. And when they're in the game, he's going to enhance how they play just by having that extra threat on the floor.
I can tell Big Game likes breaking that down from Russ, so let's give you a little vintage moments from Westbrook. We'll start with last season with the Wizards, Brez, and he's just putting Bismack Biyombo on the poster.
Bismack is actually a pretty good shot blocker. Not there, though. No chance, really. Too much momentum from Russ. James, like you just demonstrated, 2 steps, and he goes from the free throw to the net. That's a pretty strong finish right there.
Yeah, that's in the face.
Back in 2017, this is a game winner, 42nd triple-double this season for Russ, surpassing Oscar's single-season record of 41. It's a 50-point triple-double, Big Game. Are you kidding me? 50-point. And win the game.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
Wow. All right, Westbrook with the Thunder against the Lakers.
Say it one more time.
Back in 2016. And Swaggy gets absolutely crushed.
Yeah, always fun to watch Swaggy try to play a little defense.
They try to take a charge. Good job, Swag.
Yes, for one thing, for Swag to be taking a charge, but he's so strong, and he's like a pogo stick when he goes up for the dunk, and it's just powerful. Get up, Swaggy.
Oh, Jose Calderon.
We're going to go to 2012. What could have been, Brez? CP3 could have been on this team, but he wasn't. Instead, Lakers lost a close one. And Westbrook and Durant beat the Lakers. And they go to the NBA Finals, by the way.
Yeah, I remember Kobe was asked after this game about the up-and-coming Thunder, and he said, yeah, they have arrived. And Russ, obviously, a big part of that nucleus.
And then last year, he becomes the triple-double king, Big Game, passing the Big O.
That's impressive. That's not easy to do in today's game, where emphasis is not on all three. He's able to rebound as a guard.
Welcome back to our season preview show. Time for some season predictions. You guys ready to rub your crystal ball?
Mm-hmm.
Give us all the answers. Big Game, we're going to start with you. Who leads the Lakers in scoring this season?
I think he's got to be AD. He's at the prime of his career. He has a multiple talent. He's unstoppable if he sets his mind to it. So I think with the shots he'll be getting and the talent that he possesses, I just think he'll do it this year.
22 a game last year. We know motivated. We hope this offseason.
Chip on the shoulder for AD.
All right, that's scoring. Brez, for you, who dishes out the most assists? This is interesting because you've got LeBron, who led it 2 seasons ago, Russ, who led it a season ago.
I'm going to go Russ. I think LeBron's going to enjoy kind of playing off the ball a little bit more than his first few years with the Lakers. I think Russ is going to be happily the guy to give him that break. He's going to be the guy who, as James so capably demonstrated on those 360s, Russ is going to push that ball up court in a hurry, and LeBron he doesn't have to be the guy with the ball the entire time. I think he's really going to enjoy that. Maybe a throwback to his earlier days in Cleveland. I'll take Russ.
Maybe it's something the two of them, as we see on social media, as they're working out together. They're trying to get that chemistry down. Think about that.
Look, when you're working out and you're working hard, you get motivated.
Sure.
But I kind of agree with you. I think Russ' ability to get in there quicker and blow by people. Look, he passed Oscar Robertson, so you got to go with him,
He's
right?
just in. He is fast.
This one is for both of you. Biggest X factor, Big Game for the Lakers.
Wow. we didn't have the shot blocking that we needed, especially when AD was down. It's going to be a nice welcome to have Dwight back.
Yep.
If he comes back with the mindset, remember what he was able to do against Jokic, and come in and disrupt. He's a disruptor, and really one of the last guys that know how to play defense in the post and protect the rim. So I'm hoping. I know 3-point shooting is critical, but I'm going to go with that rim protecting and choose Dwight.
Good
call. Kendrick Nunn. I think Lakers, they got a really good value in him. Only $6 million next season. I think he's going to show everybody exactly what he did in Miami, which was kind of a shooting guard in a point guard's body. He loves to score. Great mid-range. Loves doing that. Fun little teardrop in the lane. Pretty fearless down there as well. He'll get hacked and go to the line and not even complain about it. Really improved his three-point percentage too. He went from 35% as a rookie to 38% last year. If he takes another 3% hop, that could be really, really big for him.
It's a big jump. Final one, I'll start with you. How many wins do the Lakers get this season?
Vegas has over-under at 51.5. I'm going to go with 55. I love the fact that they got 3 big guys right now. I would not have said that based off of last year's team, probably 52 a season ago.
You took my number, so I got to go up. 57.
57.
With the shooting of Nunn, Carmelo, these high percentage 3-point shooters. I'm going to go 57, Brez.
Good stuff.
55, 57.
Let's take a look at the beginning of the Lakers' schedule to start the season. And it's looking like a fun one. How about that?
9-1.
Warriors, Suns, Grizzlies, Spurs, Thunder, Cavs, Rockets, Thunder, and Blazers. So possibly a lot of W's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously those first 2 out jump right out at you, don't they? What a start.
Absolutely. 7 of your first 10 at home. 5 games. I mean, you played the Thunder twice and the Rockets twice, but then you had the Cavs. 5 of those teams not in the playoffs a season ago. Woo! What the numbers is? My number, is all the way over there.
You must have hosted a lot of shows lately because that rolled off. You knew that by now.
I missed you, Gee.
I was like, what?
12 of the next 15, 12 of the first 15.
How many games are That's impressive.
We went through it. I said 8 and 2.
Can you do that again? Yeah. I'm like you, though. I'm excited to see the Warriors, too.
Yeah, no doubt about
Clay,
it.
I'm happy Clay's back.
Yeah, if he's back for the season opener, that would be even better. But I think the Lakers really have a chance. 12 of the first 15.